A student mural honors the Kent State shooting victims 55 years later. In Canton, Ohio, more than a dozen high school students gathered in an art studio to create a mural commemorating the Kent State shootings that took place on May 4th, 1970. The mural features symbols of peace and conflict: a white dove, a peace sailboat, a book-reading student, and there's a haunting image of a young girl mourning a fallen classmate. The image is actually of 13-year-old Marianne Vecchio, a teenage runaway who happened to have been on campus at the time of the shootings. And above the mural, the iconic phrase "4 Dead in Ohio" is a reference to the song written by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, created just days after the tragedy. And to reiterate the event, on May 4th, 1970, the Ohio National Guard fired on student protesters at Kent State University, killing 4 students and wounding 9 others. The students were protesting the escalation of the Vietnam War into Cambodia, and the shootings became a pivotal moment in the anti-Vietnam War movement, highlighting the deep divisions and tensions in the country at a time over U.S. involvement in the loss of lives. I think by 1970, there were a couple of 100,000 dead men and women over this conflict, which had no resolve. Eventually, 8 guardsmen were later indicted by a federal grand jury for their involvement in the May 4th shootings, but a U.S. district court dismissed the case in the middle of the trial, claiming the government's case was so weak the attorneys for the guardsmen didn't even have to present a defense. Students at Ohio State, along with many other universities around the country, were deeply affected by the shootings at Kent State and the broader issues surrounding the Vietnam War. Protests at Ohio State intensified immediately after the shootings, leading to clashes between students and authorities there. The campus saw large demonstrations, sit-ins, and strikes as students expressed their outrage and demanded changes. These protests were part of a nationwide wave of student activism that sought to address not only the Vietnam War, but also issues of civil rights and social justice. And as I said, the death of the 4 students at Kent State led musician and songwriter Neil Young to compose the song Ohio, which became one of the anti-Vietnam War anthems when it first appeared on the live album 4-Way Street, featuring Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. The song was banned from some radio stations at the time because of its anti-war, anti-President Richard Nixon lyrics. You can read the stories, there's 2 of them, at MidwestAgenda.com. The one on top is an interview with survivors of the shooting from StoryCorps, and the other link below that is more information about the mural creation. And if you have art, news, and events or project listing that you'd like to share, submit a listing right at the top of the page. Go ahead and send us yours, because art in the Midwest matters, and so does free speech. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.